Hi, welcome to Ruby Accountability Week 2 post convention. We're going for 6 week sprints, and this is going to be great. I'm very excited about July. I just feel good. And I feel like coming off of convention is kind of like a crescendo. Like it's going to take a little bit of time for all of that mindset goodness that we got to translate into everything that we're actually doing. So I'm not going to belabor the things we need to be focused on. I feel like we have heard them multiple times in multiple ways. Jessica talked about it on her team page. We did a live a little bit ago, just in place of our normal team Tuesday team call. Remind me, we're just doing Wednesday calls with Eric this month. We're not doing the normal Tuesday evening team trainings. So remind your people, funnel everybody into that. We're driving attendance. I think we have over 4,000 people opted in. So kudos for encouraging your teams to pop on and opt into that training. And there were over 2,000 people on his kickoff call on Thursday. So excited about that. We'll just keep talking about it. I think also reminder, it's not just us plugging in and doing the things, but we're as leaders working to get our people also doing the thing. So anything we do, we want them to do. Okay, so reminder that the goal is to get each of you to have new icons on your teams, and then to drive towards earning leaders retreat. Talk about Cancun, recruit people to earn the trip. Like use your warmest market first, your closest friends, whether they're on or off Plexus, and also your customer base. That is a great place to go and just say, hey, I think you'll be good at what I do. You've had a product experience. Are you ready? All right. Also, I was listening to a little 2-minute clip that Jessica posted in her monthly leader chat, because she's doing an accountability chat with like a few of her people. And she was reminding everybody, she's like, you gotta be doing business invites all the time, all the time. And it was just a reminder to me, the reason she is this multi-star diamond, like a 10-star diamond, is because that's what she does. She recruits leaders into the business. And so her antennas are always up looking for leaders, looking for leaders. And I feel like I am constantly defaulting to looking for product users, looking for product users. Who else can I sign for a quick 10? Right. And so I think a lot of times the reason we came in is kind of our default mode for how we promote. So just keep an eyeball on that. It's not wrong to recruit customers. I mean, we all should keep talking about gut health. People need that. People can come in just like we did, not intending to have a business or a career and totally have one. Okay, so just a reminder there. We have to be having conversations. We got to be inviting people to earn Cancun with us, because the goal is multiplication, not just addition, but multiplication. I know this is nothing new, but it's just good to remind ourselves. A couple things. We have relatively low leader recruitment. And so I'm going to challenge us all from top down, top leaders, and then we duplicate that on the team, is that we're showing leading by example in this way. And I'm preaching to myself here because I have not made recruitment a focus for the past few months, and I need to change that. And I know how to do it. I definitely know how to do it. So I just want to encourage and inspire all of us to minimum 3 to 6, and then we're working on developing. Minimum 3 to 6, working on developing. So I'm not saying you got to go recruit 10 people this month, because you still have to have time to work on the development part of your teams, but we still need to be bringing in new people. Okay. Also, just completely honest, we have been talking about posting and posting consistently. 2 posts a day is all we've been really had the requirement of, and we're still not hitting the mark. I don't know. Well, did you guys chime in the chat with your post audits? We'll see how we did this week. But I do feel like for people that are wanting to be emerald or diamond, whatever your goal is, your next rank, or minimum we've got to be posting. Okay, so I'm just going to, in love, challenge us all that that's like the easiest part of this. And I say that lovingly, knowing that some of us are in different places and skills and focuses, but posting is important. And I don't know about you guys, and I know we keep talking about this, but I like it when people come to me. So to me, it's an easy thing to just make my posts and get loud on social media, pop in my stories. The people that are influential on social media, they're in their stories live. They're doing lives on their wall. They're talking about life. They're like compelling people that you want to get to know, right? They're adding value. So I just want to remind us that we need to get a handle on this as leaders. Posting, it's important. Angie is an OG with me. Lisa and some of the girls too, were like, when we were learning from Jessica initially, like back in the day, 10 years ago, she was having us post on our wall 4 times a day. Like that was a huge piece of what we were doing, and it worked. And I personally have the belief that it still works. So people won't know what we're doing unless we talk about it. All right, development is actually decent. So congratulations on that. I mean, our brand ambassador percentages are 10% and above. So check that on your individual teams too, because whatever your recruitment is, like your team recruitment, you want at least 10%. We're working on higher than 10%, but at least 10% of those people converting to brand ambassadors. Because if we have a bigger pool of that, then we have a bigger pool of people actually duplicating, and it's a sign that the conversations are happening. So numbers always tell a story. So anyways, keep up the good work with that. Retention wise, okay. I mean, I think we can always work on that. But do keep an eyeball on that. Like if you see big giant point drops in your organization, let's look at that, keep an eye on it. And then leadership development, personal growth. That is a huge piece of what we've all got to be doing. And I don't have my Ed Milet book in here, but every call I am reminding the skills, the basic skills, and we've got to be duplicating this top down. So if we're not doing it, why do we think anyone in our downline is going to be doing it? And so these are simple things. I mean, we have been encouraging this since, well, we started doing it. So get a book, read, learn about network marketing, and to talk to your peeps about the same. Okay. I did want to say really fast, and then I'll turn it over to Angie, that beginning of the month, this is what leaders do. You reflect on what went well, and then you reflect on what didn't go so well, and then you make the necessary pivots. But you need to be like carving out time to think about it. Because when you're a leader in this business, you can't just fly by the seat of your pants and just nook and cranny moving forward. Like you need to actually have like a sit down, regroup time. I'm actually getting on paper who I have in the nutrition group and who I have that I'm working with, like one-on-one or conversationally, because I want to have such clear focus for what I'm doing and make sure when I am working that I'm efficient in what I'm doing, because we have the motto, the kids were reminding me, work hard, play hard. So when I'm working, I want to be focused and direct and get it done, and then we go play. So reminder there, make sure you're very super duper focused, crystal clear on what your focus is for July. And I actually meant to put this in the homework, but I feel like it's been loud and busy the past 48 hours. But I need everybody to send me what they want and why specifically. I know some of you already have, but remind me again, you can send it in a text, or if you have it written down and you want to just take a picture of it. I am compiling like a graphic, like a pick art graphic for myself, because I want to have you guys' goals front and center for what you want. So I can help hold you to it or remind you of it or whatever. So if you guys could all send that to us, that would be really helpful. And I think it just reminds ourselves like why we're doing this. Connect with team, who's earning icon, find out from your team who's committed to doing that, and encourage them to stay close to the fire. We've got to keep everybody, regardless that it's summertime, you can still stay close to the fire and still work your business with peace and joy. So, okay. There was a couple little quotes I wanted to share just as fun little sound bites. We might have talked about these last week, but I thought they were really good. All right, here's one. Act before you feel like it. I love that. Change your environment. We did talk about that last week. Like get up and move, go outside with your list, walk around, pace the yard, the garden. I have found that has helped my energy so much, not to sit in one place for too long. Angie, this was Angie's last week. Lock your brain in on one word and let that be the driver for what you're doing. Okay, here's a question. Who are we when the storm comes? Okay, there were some little mini storms that came in yesterday. There were some like rank ups and re-ranks and fun stuff of significance. And there was definitely some things that popped up that leaders had to show up and make some leadership decisions. And I was so proud of them. This could be taken wrong, but the point is, don't be surprised when it feels this way. We lose more than we win, meaning we're going to hear no a lot more than we hear yes, and that's okay. I loved this one. This is just a reminder. Your problem is that you think your business shouldn't have any problems. Okay, that is a problem. Okay, any perfectionists in here besides me? Just me. Okay, all right. Well, I'm going to turn it over to Angie. Angie is my sweet friend. We have done this for over 10 years together now. And I am just so proud of her for the consistency that she's shown. She is always the cheerleader, always showing up for people, even for people that have literally zero impact on her paycheck. She will stay up and work with them till end of month. Like historically, that's the type of lady that she is. And I know that sometimes um, it's just helpful to hear the things from someone besides me. And she has been investing in coaching and training, and she has a lot that she's learning. And we were talking about this on a Duo call, and I was like, you know what? Can you share that on the Ruby call? Because that is a fantastic exercise. These are really good things. Oh, she's also been historically one of the highest recruiters month in, month out. And I want her to share because as we're working on just because our leader recruitment has been low, I want her to talk about as a leader of a big team, how she continues to month after month after month recruit and bring new people, bring new level ones in every single month. And it's not like zero here, two here, one there. But I mean, consistently like 4, 5, 6. And I mean, back in the day, we were running probably 10, 12 every single month because it was warm market, right? Warmest market. So, Angie, I know we have things to talk about. So I'm just going to turn it over to you and I'm going to be quiet because we want to hear from you. So get out a sheet of paper too. Don't forget, this is an exercise that we'll do together.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Megan, for asking me. And thank you for just believing in me and trusting me all and just like shouting me out. I love it. I used to always tell Megan, I'm like, I don't need to shout it out. It's totally fine. I don't need that. But really, I found out that I do. And I like it. Like I appreciate it just as much as the next person. So I want to first of all expound a little bit on what Megan said, because we talked about this on our Jewel call last week. Who you are when the storm comes. And it's easy to just think about that for just a second and go, I show up, but when things get tough and when things are like in the nitty gritty and people are canceling or people are saying the products are affecting them in a negative way or people are quitting. Like I've had so many high recruiting, high leader people on my team just be out. But I have just determined from the beginning that I'm just going to keep showing up. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep encouraging. And that to me is when the storm comes, when things get crazy and people are dropping off or family life takes over. Like the last 3 years, I've been through some stuff with my family. But for me, what helped me is to just keep going. Many years ago, Megan got several of us we earned them or something. I don't remember exactly, but these cups, these big leather cups, and it had a word on it. And I just picked out the word perseverance because, like, I'm not a word person, but I was like, okay, perseverance, that sounds good. But honestly, that has been who I am, who I've been, even when I didn't realize it. As I'm doing my podcast now and I'm going back, as I've been doing a lot of coaching and digging deep into my soul of who I am, perseverance is what has got me through. Perseverance is what has got me through the storms in this business. And the other thing that we talked about that Megan mentioned is that your problem is you think you shouldn't have any problems. We're going to have problems, whether it's in family, whether it's in this business or other businesses or homeschooling your kids or sending your kids to school or whatever it looks like. In this business, I think this is my seventh or eighth, I can't even remember, network marketing business over the past 30 years. There are a lot of ups and downs, right? There are problems, if we call them problems. So we can look at it as this is a problem, or we can look at it as this is just an obstacle that I'm going to have to get over. I'm going to have to figure it out. And I forget who says this. Maybe Brittany Howard, everything is figure outable. That should be in Webster's dictionary. Everything literally is figure outable. And I believe that it has to do with our perspective, how we look at things. And so if we look at things as a problem, they're probably going to be a problem. But if we look at things like this is just an obstacle, this is something for me to learn from or to get past, I think we'll have a different outcome. And I remember the very first convention I went to in 2016, and they said the reason all these, because in Las Vegas, this is where we were, and this was the setup. There's all this stadium seating, and then down low there were all the seats where the emeralds and the sapphires and the diamonds sat. And I remember from stage they said the reason that all these diamonds are sitting down here, and Jules, you guys have heard this before, they got more no's than everyone else. And so we can look at no's as a problem or a storm, or we can look at no's like, I know the yes is coming. I don't remember who wrote the book Go for No. Do you, Megan? Oh, it's Eric Worre. I was thinking, I don't want to say Brian. No, that's Go Pro.
And Go for No. I don't remember who wrote that book.
Anyways, I
Go
think
for Pro.
I think it's him too. But anyway, the idea is go for 100 no's because statistically speaking, you're going to get some yeses in there. And so once you continue to just keep going for no, 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 because sometimes we're like, oh, I just want to get, a yes. If I just get a yes. But the more no's you get, like statistically speaking, you are going to get a yes in there somewhere. So that is a huge piece of my encouragement. Just keep going for the no because you're going to get the yes. And, Megan was mentioning, and we had chatted about this some this past week about, the recruiting and how I'm continuing to show up and recruit people even after it seems like my market isn't really all that warm anymore. But you know what? I don't look at it like that. I have 4.3 thousand followers on Facebook. I haven't touched all of them. So really, I can't say that I'm in my cold market. Like I could look at it like that and go, well, I've just reached out to everyone. I promise you, you have not reached out to everyone. If I haven't reached out to everyone, neither have you guys. And I'm sure Megan hasn't either. Like we've been doing this 10 years. We probably haven't even scratched the surface. And so what I do, it's a system of perseverance. I show up every single month. I show up pretty much every single day. There might be a day that goes by that Plexus isn't top on my radar list, right? But I am in DMs, I'm in my stories, I'm on my Instagram, I'm on my Facebook, and I'm showing up my authentic self. I was on the call last night, like Megan said, the month end call, and I was pumping up some of these girls that were on there. I don't see them here now, but I'm seriously like, I was like, girl, you got, and they weren't on my team. And I wish I would have had my pom poms because I was so excited. I was just so into it. I'm like, do this and do this and do this and call them up and tell them like, this is so exciting because I want everyone to win, right? I don't want it to just be, I'm not looking at it as like, oh, Angie wins. I want everyone to win. And I honestly feel like when my team went diamond, it was because my perspective had changed about 6 months before. And I was like, I'm just going to focus on my team. I'm going to focus on all of my leaders who want this, or all of these new people who want something out of this. It doesn't matter what the number looks like for me. Yes, I was going for diamond. Yes, I wanted Madison to hit emerald. Yes, I wanted all her girls and other people on my team to succeed so that I would get my points, right? Because we know that's initially what's going to happen overall. But my focus turned to them. And if there's the best piece of advice I could give you outside of walking with the Lord is focus on the people that you want to see succeed. Because my heart is that I have 3 daughters who are working this business, and I want them to just blow past me. I want them to have a legacy business for their kids. And when you turn your perspective and your outlook onto them instead of inward, and I'm not saying you guys do that, I'm just like giving you some tips here. It does change your perspective and you look at it from a whole new world. And so I hope that is some encouraging thoughts for you. A couple other things I want to talk to you guys about. One, I want to talk to you about belief. And like Megan said, I'm going to throw this little in there too. Act before you feel. Are there days when you feel like, I don't want to do this? I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to go cook food for my kids. I don't want to clean the house. I definitely don't want to take the dog out. There's things. But I know the importance of getting those things done. because we know that our actions create our feelings. And so if we are acting before those feelings come into play, it's going to change the trajectory of what we're doing. Can I get an amen? Maybe I should have been a preacher. I don't know. Like, I get so passionate about these things because I actually want to see so many people succeed. So I don't know how that whole acronym goes, but I know this. I know that your actions create your feelings, and your feelings are and then the way you feel is how you're going to act, and then how you act gives you some results. And so if you're acting in a way that's like, I don't want to do this because I don't feel like it, then your results are going to show that. Anybody ever had that happen where you're just like, I don't feel like doing it, and then the end of the month comes and you're like, darn, why aren't my points where I want them? Why didn't I get my 3 this month? I mean, that's happened to me, I know. And so I'm pretty certain that it probably has happened to you guys too. I also want to share with you about a follow-up system that I learned from Brooke Hemingway. I've been in her mastermind and her elite training for the past few years with, learning more and more about Plexus because, she too is a rock star and she has some great tips. And one of the things that she taught me, which I think is a huge benefit, is her follow-up system. So, we add people. And then do you guys ever get like this? By the time the end of the month gets here, I'm thinking, who did I even add? Who are my level ones? I know I added them, but who were they? Like right this very second, I know that I added 5 people this month or last month. And one of them returned her products. She didn't even talk to me about it. She just returned them. I remember her name right now. The other 4, honestly, I haven't followed up with them today, so I can't even name one of them at the moment. I probably could if I thought for a second. But this is the tip that I learned, and I'm doing this every week, is that it's called the 4-2-1. I want you to write this down. 4-2-1. The first month, you're going to follow up 4 times. Look at that sweet smile from Wendy. The first month, you're going to follow up 4 times, once a week. The second month, you're going to follow up twice a month, so every other week. I like to do my follow-ups on Monday. You do what works for you. And the 1 is that 3rd month. Follow up 1 time. 4 times the first month, 2 times the second month, and 1 time the 3rd month. Because do you ever feel like you're either not reaching out enough or you're reaching out too much? And people are like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that getting into this Plexus thing, like she was going to be messaging me every single day. Or I haven't heard from Angie in a while. Why? Like, I thought she was going to coach me. I thought she was going to walk with me. I thought she was going to be my accountability. And if you can get a good system, maybe 4-2-1 won't work for you, or you have another system. Most important thing is have a system that works for you. And this seemed to me like a really simple system. And I would say a lot of us use Project Broadcast. I do too. But I'm in the process of revamping it so that it's more personalized. Because don't you know every time you get a message from someone who has something like Project Broadcast, you don't really always know who it is, and you can tell that it's kind of a standard message. There's a place for that, don't get me wrong. But one of the things that I'm starting to do is following up with my people in Messenger with my voice. Once it's my voice, then it's a text message. Then it's my voice, then it's a text message for that first month. Because by month 3, if you're still the one dragging them along, chances are they're probably not in it too much. They might be taking the products, but if you stay solid that first month, chances are you're going to find those people who maybe want to work the business. Now, there are times, right, when people come back a few years later and they decide, hey, I want to work this business. Because we've all probably had that along the way. But if you can get a really good follow-up system down that works for you, that's your voice, you're going to connect with people. Do you ever get a text message and you're like, wow, that didn't sound very loving and kind and warm and fuzzy? I've gotten them, and I'm like cut and dry. So I can send a message to someone and they're like, are you mad? And I'm like, no. Why would you think I'm mad? And they're like, well, you were just so like, I'm just matter of fact. Like, I got business to do. But when I use my voice and let it come across as if I'm speaking to them, not voice to text, but literally your voice, it does make a difference. So I just want to challenge you guys to try that. Try the 421 and see if that works for you. Try messaging them in either texting or in Messenger and use your voice and see how that connects you a little bit differently with people. It has been really helpful for me. And so hopefully that'll be helpful for you guys. Okay, now we're going to talk about beliefs. And I want you to think about this, and you might want to write it down. You will never outperform the story that you believe about yourself. And I'm sharing it because it has impacted me so much. The story that I was believing about myself, I could never outperform it because I had negative beliefs deep inside. And so if you can work on changing that, because like Megan said, I've been doing a lot of growth and I've done a lot of life coaching the past 3 or 4 years, and it's helped me uncover the things that I was believing about myself. I might not have said them out loud, but they were inside. And so that was helping me, or not really helping me, but it was hindering me in the way that I was showing up. Can you say that? Oh, wait a minute. Let me see what she's saying here. Can you say that again about outperforming? Oh, sure. You will never outperform the story that you believe about yourself. You're welcome. And so I would just challenge you guys, maybe not on the call, but just write this down and work on this is how do you identify yourself? So for me, I had been identifying myself as I wasn't worthy. I wasn't good enough. Who would listen to me? Even though people listen to me, obviously, I'm a diamond. People listen to me. But even before that, when I was Emerald, like I still had that idea that who would listen to me? What do I have to offer people? If you can write down some of the things that you identify yourself as, and then see how you can change that perspective. Like I'm worthy because of Christ, right? And he says who I am, not me anymore. And so when I started changing those things, I started showing up a little bit differently. And then when you think about the impact that that could have on others and on generations down the road, it can make a huge difference in your business, in your walk with Christ, in everything that you do. Is that helpful? And kind of going back to like what Megan said earlier about acting before you feel, Tony Robbins says the state that you're in determines the story that you tell yourself. This is a direct quote, so I don't want to say it wrong. The state you're in determines the story you tell yourself, and the story you tell yourself determines the actions that you take. Do you believe that? Yeah. And so in my coaching that I actually coach clients in, we have what's called the golden key. And this is what it says. It goes along with that, is that the way in which you relate to yourself directly creates and impacts your relationships and your circumstances. So, however you are relating to yourself is going to determine your relationships and your circumstances. It greatly impacts it. And when I got a hold of that quote that I learned from my life coach about 3.5 years ago, like I sat on it for a while and I was like, I relate to myself in a great way. Like I think I'm all that in a bag of chips. Like that's how I showed up. But inside, there was something else being said to myself. Did you guys ever read the book What You Say When You Talk to Yourself? Remember that book? We read it years ago. I think like year one. I saw that book. I think it's still on my shelf. It's really old. And I was like, that's crazy. I don't talk to myself. But as I started reading it, I was like, I actually do talk to myself. And the worst part is I listen. So the things that we say, maybe we don't say them out loud. Maybe they're just in our minds, but it greatly impacts everything that we do. And it seems like it would be so easy because we're all Christians. We all know what God says about us, but yet somehow the human part of us grabs a hold of, oh, I'm not this or I'm not that. So I like my golden key. And I also like the way that Tony Robbins says it because really the story that we tell ourselves determines so much about who we are. And the other thing that goes along with that is like Megan was saying earlier about changing your basically your physiology. Like if you're sitting and you're not feeling it, like get up and walk around. Go make your pink drink. Do a live video. Do some jumping jacks. Do some push-ups. Whatever you have to do, change your environment so that you can move things around. I was listening to a podcast several months ago when I was out walking, and this girl she's some kind of health coach or something, and she was talking about the fact that obviously the Lord, how he created us, like we don't, like we take medicine, different things, nowadays, but if we were eating 100% clean and we were doing all the exercise and all the things, like our bodies are created so that when we start moving and exercising, like serotonin, it naturally expounds in our body. So those are some really great, like getting out walking, or sometimes I used to walk up and down my stairs if I couldn't get outside. I've even been known to be in a hotel when it's raining outside and I just run up and down the stairway or around the halls or whatever it is because I had to get I had to get my mindset moving. And so when you change your state, or when you change your mindset, you change the language that you're using, replacing negative language with positive. For instance, I heard this not too long ago. Replacing limiting language like, I am so tired, or I'm so overwhelmed. I know a lot of us refer to, we don't want to say the O word, right? The overwhelmed word. And if you change those things around and you say, instead of I'm so tired, I'm recharging. Or instead of saying I'm overwhelmed, you could say, I got this. A matter of fact, if I could turn my screen around, you could see what's on my wall. I have a sign that says, you got this. It's lit up. And I just put it up yesterday and I've had it for months. And I'm like, man, this is giving me a new outlook. I'm just thinking about it, and I'm like, I do got this, right? It's not the right exact English or the right language, but it is what it is. So if we can change our verbiage, how many of you have said, I am so overwhelmed? I have. Or I'm so tired. I didn't get enough sleep last night. Or I'm starving. I learned this from Mary Miller many years ago. Whenever her kids would say, I'm starving, I mean, she would reprimand them because she's like, you don't even know what starving is. You don't know what starving is. You might be hungry, but you're not starving. And so just those little things that I have remembered over the years. And, if you can change that and start repeating affirmations, Jessica had us do this years ago. I remember that we would listen to this. There was some kind of recording. We would listen to it and then we would talk into it and we'd play it over and over and over again. And it's not fake. It's not fake it till you make it. It's literally putting the positivity in your mind because the beliefs that are in there aren't always positive. And so if you can turn them around and get them to the positive, because there's something about the physical part and there's also a huge piece about the mental part. Anybody on here ever say negative stuff about yourself or think it? Maybe you don't verbalize it, but you kind of think it. I know I have so many times. When I go to get in the shower in the morning, two things that I love to do. I've been into dry brushing for a few months. If you haven't done it, you need to do it. It literally is invigorating. And two, I turn on praise and worship music when I'm in the shower. You know how people always used to tease about, oh, well, they're singing in the shower. There's something to that. I'm telling you, it just gets you pumped up. It gets you feeling really good. And I know these are all kind of random things that I'm throwing at you guys today, but I really want you to think about them because the state of mind that we are in plays such a huge piece on how we show up every single day. Okay, I got one more thing. I know Megan has to go soon. Um, did you guys see the graphic that I put in our chat thread? It says my summer rhythm board. Okay, I know I just put that in there. I should have done it earlier, but if you can print it out or write down on a piece of paper, make these columns: peace, play, and progress. And I want you to think about, as the summer is, I mean, it's upon us now, right? We're on July 1st, but I want you to think about peace, about having ease, having space, trusting your flow, your process of what you're doing daily without lacking any fear or anxiety. And I did this activity. Let me find it in my board. So here are some of the things that I put down. And you can write down as you're thinking of things, but under peace, the things that give me peace is having daily boundaries. Because I wear a lot of hats throughout the day. And so if I can have boundaries on this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. And don't you love my hat? I'm sorry, I meant to mention this. I love this hat. It's the cutest. Planning my month, that brings me peace. Going on a date with my husband, I like to say once a week, but he's traveling a lot right now. So at least once a month, that is so important. Having that time. I don't know. I think everyone's married on here. Putting my phone away at a certain time, pick your time, whatever that is, so you can have peace in your mind, in your heart, and as you sleep. Anybody sleep with their phone beside their bed? Okay, I used to for years. My husband's actually out of town, so I do keep it on my dresser, but when he's home, it's in the bathroom. Made a big difference. One, in my marriage, because I wasn't, even if he's asleep, like I wasn't on my phone all the time, right? He knows I'm there for him. Okay, let's go on to the play. What is going to bring you fun in your summer that you can do? For me, it was like, I want to play dominoes or cards once a week with my kids. And my kids are teenagers, but they like to play dominoes. They like to play cards. So I want to have that time just because it's fun. Did you guys see my reel where I did on mental flossing? This goes in my play, but it also goes back to the beliefs. I don't know if you saw this, but I learned this. And you know how you floss your teeth? I want everyone to do this right now. Okay. Now I want you to move your flosser up to your brain. And I just want you to laugh. Laugh out, floss out those negativities that are in there. Whenever you feel them coming on, I want you to floss them out. I want you to just like you get rid of that food that gets stuck in your teeth, I want you to floss out your brain and just laugh it out. Those things that you say. For me, I put that under play because I'm like, that is really funny and I love it. And just for that, I'm going to go put my reel in our chat thread so you can have it. Also, events are really fun for me. I love doing events. That is a fun playtime for me. Progress. Column 3. Okay. You can lose a day. This is good. You can lose a day and maybe a week, but you cannot lose a month or a quarter in network marketing. It takes 2 quarters to recover from a bad quarter. That is not my words or Brooke's words.
Say that
That
again.
is a statistic. You can lose a day or maybe a week in network marketing. Like if you're out a day or you're out for a whole week, right? But you cannot lose a month or a quarter because it takes 2 quarters to recover from one bad quarter, and that's a maybe. That's
Interesting.
like statistically. Okay.
Can you screenshot that?
Yeah.
That's a big quote.
Yeah, it's good. And it was really helpful when I heard that. So I want you guys to print that out, write down the things that are going to bring you peace in your life. Because listen, I've done this, Megan's done this, maybe some of you, we've worked around the clock, right? When we first started, like there was a meme that was going around like covers over my head, or, it wasn't me, but covers over the head. And we're texting all night long, all hours of the night. Like we are working this thing. And that was a season, but you have to have peace in your life, in your marriage, in your walk with all the things. But referring to our business, you need peace in that. You also need time to play, and you also need time for progress. So find out, add 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 things in each column to see what's going to give you the most peace, the most playtime, and the most progress.
What do you have on progress, Angie? If you
Well,
already
I had the quote. I also had doing the skincare events, which I'm hosting tonight, and I have 15 people coming. My samples didn't even arrive, but
Oh,
we're just going with it. Also 20 reach outs weekly of people that I am not currently talking to about Plexus. Doing a challenge once a month and having 2 CEO days a month to
what's a
where
CEO day?
like getting one is with my husband and my children, reminding them why I'm on my phone a lot, because my kids, they're like, I'll say, get off your phone. You're on your phone all the time. And they're like, well, so are you. And I'm like, when you start making 6 figures, you can be on your phone all day long too. I run my
I
business.
told my kids the same thing.
Yeah. But the other thing is with my business builders, because we have to strategize. Madison and I talk almost every day about business, but if we could get it down to strategically having those CEO days to where we're really working, focusing on the new business builders coming in, how to get more business builders, how to talk to the people that are currently on our team that they don't know that they want the business yet. And we're going to try to help them uncover that. Um, and then I actually just put a couple people's names down because I was thinking about the senior silver,
Mm-hmm.
so, and I was actually just telling Madison this morning is that, so now technically now I only have 4 since one person returned her products, but I'm like, I'm not worried a bit about getting the 10 people, but it's getting the people to senior silver. And I actually was going back because I think there's a couple people of my level ones who could, with just the right nudge. Matter of fact, I have 2 of them coming tonight. They're product takers. They've never ever worked the business. They've never even come to any of my meetings. So here's this. This is a big deal. So just putting those things in that will move the needle for you. And if one thing doesn't work, change it up and try something different. So, anyways, I have one more thing I want to share with you guys because I meant to say this at the beginning and I forgot, but it's about my hat. So I just did right before I got on the call, I did some Instagram lives. And I was walking around my office. And so I'm always trying to think, I'm always going to be mixing up my pink drink, but I want to talk about something different. And so I pretty much have the same glass, the same straw. I do the same thing every time. So people see what's happening time after time. But I was walking around thinking, what can I have in front of me? Because I want to talk to them about something. I want to show them something. So I was looking at my books, I was looking at different things. I didn't want it to be Plexus related. And so my hat was there, and I actually hadn't worn this hat. I was telling Megan, I gave it away as a gift from somebody, won something on my podcast group. And I was like, oh my gosh, this hat, I love it. So I got on, I started talking about that, about how cute my hat was. And then I started talking about the Proverbs 31 challenge group, that I'm doing. I saw Jessica Hepley did it. And I already am doing, like, every month I post, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, I post a graphic that has the whole month of like January, February, March, and it has Bible verses for every single day. And I've done that for years. So I started talking about that. And then I was like, but this month I saw my friend Jessica do this. So I decided I was going to follow her lead and do it this way. And I talked about how I journal and how I have 8 or 9 different journals over the years that I've been not journaling, but journaling God's word. I just write the scriptures. I did that for years and years, and I have those treasures for my grandchildren someday. So I just want to encourage you, like Megan said earlier, influencers, they show up live, their face. It's called Facebook for a reason. face. And I know a lot of us start with Instagram and it carries over into our stories. Show your face, talk about something. Because if they see us show up time after time after time after time, only talking about plexus, they'll be like, she's only talking about plexus. But don't you know, at the very end, I said, oh, and of course I'm mixing up my pink drink. And if you want to sample, click the button or whatever was on, click the heart. And so we want to show them, or maybe just like, oh yeah, my mommy mocktail, whatever it is, but tell them something else, add value to them, give them something to go with. Even like I talked about earlier, I'm loving dry brushing. I created a ebook on dry brushing because I love it so much. I'm like, okay, I got to find all the things that it's beneficial for, and I want to share it with people. And so the more we show up, yeah, our plexus people can see it, but there's going to be people who aren't your plexus people that are going to see what you're doing and they're going to start following it because we think everybody knows what we're doing. We think everybody knows what plexus is. And the truth is, I still have people say to me, what is it you do again? And I've been doing it for 10 years and I'm loud about it. So if you're not loud, or maybe you're sort of loud, turn up the volume. I'm going to challenge all of you guys this week, and we're going to come back on next week. And I want to hear from you. I want to know how much you turned up your volume. If you're at a 5, like think about where are you right now? Are you on a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10? Are you at a 5 on the volume spectrum? Turn it up a couple notches and see what happens. And it's not that everything's going to change overnight, but consistency compounds. And so time after time after time, people are going to see it. They're going to get familiar with it. And the reason that I'm doing my pink drink in my same glass with my same purple straw, I always mix the same thing, is because I want them to see the same thing over and over again.
What was that homework, Angie?
I want you to
How'd you say that? Oh, turn up the volume.
turn up the volume.
I like that better than get loud.
Yeah.
That's cuter.
Quote, you can do the quote from Angie. Turn
Okay.
up the volume. I hope that was helpful for you guys today.
So good. Angie, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Lots of good things. Took a lot of notes. Keep working on your summer rhythm board. And if you are listening or driving or something like that, make sure you carve out time to do it because these are exercises that will help us be better at the things. And this goes with the turn up the volume. I feel like it's that sparkle, the little spark. I know Gretchen and I have chatted about that before. Like to just have a sparkle when we are on social media because it just comes through, and that little spark, I think, is a reflection of our thoughts and our feelings, and all of that good stuff too. So keep your sparkle, turn up the volume. Don't forget about my little homework. Where did my notes go? What did I do? Throw away my notes. We were doing this in the chat, but I think we all got a little distracted or sidetracked. Pop in the actual chat and put your post audit, please. Post audit, it holds the mirror. And then I was asking everyone if they would send over, oh yeah, from convention, the what you want and why, because I want to do a pick collage. So I personally have you guys's goals and dreams front and center because that fuels me to keep showing up. So if you guys, I think it really creates clarity for all of us of like what we're going for and why we're doing this. So remind you with that. Okay, do your reflection.
I know I keep saying I have one more. I keep saying I have one more thing, but I promise this is it.
Okay.
1, let's get a picture. And 2,
oh yeah,
I heard this quote and I love it. The goal isn't the goal. The goal is growth.
Oh yes. Did we talk about that last week too? That's so good.
Well, we talked about it on the Jewel call.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. Goal isn't
the goal. Isn't the goal.
The goal.
The goal is growth. Okay. Everyone turn on your camera if you can real quick. Let's get a picture.